Hi guys, my name is Marco Romanelli. I am going to be teaching Year 1 Geometry this year. I will also be teaching with Dr. Julie Brennan and Coach Robert Hill. They will be dropping in during our blocks to help out. I will be located in room 117. I did send out a syllabus with a few issues on it, so we're going to address some of these issues in this video. But also I want to clarify some things, and hopefully if you watch this video you come away feeling a little better. So let's talk about the first thing, which is communication. On the syllabus, the student channel was incorrect, so I updated that for you. But open communication is key. I can't support you or help you if we're not communicating openly. I want to create an open channel so where you can feel free to communicate with me at any time, and I will always do my best to make time for you. I usually keep myself available until about 8:30 every day, including weekends. So whatever you need, if I could help, I want to help. I do really ask that you guys keep these channels separate. The reason for that is because Remind limits how many participants I could have in each channel. And once I reach over that limit, I start to get limited in functions that Remind allows me to do, and I have to start kicking people off. So if we could keep separate. But I will send you guys both the same reminds, the same updates when I can. Try to keep you guys informed as much as possible. Next, course outline. So the course consists of 6 units. I added an extra, which is Unit 7 review. So usually what happens is once we finish the 3 units on the second semester, I like to take some time and review before the final. Give you guys a good, strong foundation moving on to next year. Materials. Let's talk about materials for a minute here. 3-ring binder. We really don't need dividers unless you're sharing it with classes. About a 2-inch binder is probably going to be plenty. Some loose leaf paper, and we should be good. The ruler and the pencils, I could help out a little bit. Getting your own would be really, really helpful. So, compass. Getting a fancy compass, spending, $5, $10, even more, $15, $20 on a compass isn't really worth it for this course. Those little lead tips that they come with, can be hard to replace once they're lost, and it can make your $15 to $20 compass kit useless. So, and then the other thing is when they break, they can be harder to fix. I really, really push these simple plastic compasses. You can find them in all sorts of retail stores, and they're only about $1 to $2. And oftentimes they come with a protractor, which helps fix that ruler thing, that ruler requirement too, because that's pretty much long enough for what we need. They're easy to fix. Duct tape works magic on those things. And I have the golf pencils. So when the pencil wears out or something happens, I could replace it. All right, let's talk calculators. So another error that I have on the syllabus regarding calculators is that the department is going to sell them. That was something that was happening at my previous school. We are hoping that we are going to be setting up a school store, and the school store will sell them, but it's going to be a while. So hold tight on that. Hopefully that's a service we can provide, at least for the second semester, if a student loses their calculator. Most of you guys have this TI-30XS here, and that's okay. That's a great calculator. I highly recommend it. It's something I would go with. If you don't have a calculator, I do recommend this 36X Pro if you can get one. They're slightly more available, and they have a little bit more functionality. The Casio is also good if you come across one of those. The reason why these calculators are so great is because they produce things in symbols, just the way as you would write them. So they produce your answers and such in symbols, and it's really, really helpful. I honestly have a couple of these TI-36 Pros sitting around my house. I had to take some graduate level math courses, and this is what got me through it. So this calculator, if you're planning to go to trade school or college or anything like that, this calculator will get you through, no problem. So I will say this, it is very, very difficult to pass this course without a calculator. Much like previous algebra, much of the work that needs to be done here needs to be done with a calculator. And it's very impractical to try to do it without one. It's also very difficult to try to do this course without a good calculator. So some of the cheaper calculators are become cumbersome to try to handle. There's very few calculators that I really, really don't recommend. But spending an extra couple of dollars and getting a better calculator is a huge advantage. Unlike the compass, right? I also don't recommend buying a graphing calculator. Those calculators at this point are becoming almost obsolete, and they can be very cumbersome to use. And sometimes this black calculator here, this TI-36X Pro, does more. So spending $15-20 on a calculator, spending $2-3 at most on a compass, and a couple of dollars on a binder, and we could do some geometry on the cheap. Okay, let's talk policies. Henry County is going to maintain its grading policy that it's maintained for the last 2-3 years, which is 40 tests, 40 classwork, and 20% final. We will have, many of us, I think, actually all of us, will have 2 grades. You'll have a support grade and a geometry grade, and they'll both be on that same metric. Chromebook. So we're required to use the Chromebook for certain things, and we're just going to have to do it. Frankly, I'm a little petered out with electronics, so we're not going to try to overuse them for sure. But we do need to be responsible for having them charged. There are not too many extra chargers floating around the school, so it could be a real issue if your Chromebook is not charged. If there's issues with it, you're welcome to let me know. I'll help you open a ticket, and we'll get yours going as soon as possible. Attendance. Attendance is critical. So class time is not to be spent getting caught up. If you are absent, communicate with me, and I will help you get caught up. If we have to find time to do that, we will do it, but we can't do it during class. It's, for many of us that struggle with math, missing a day of math is pretty bad. So try to maintain that open channel so I could help you keep things together so you don't fall too behind if you miss a day or if something happens and we can't attend school for a while. Teaching philosophy. I focus on problem solving, not at the cost of precision. I have high expectations for my students. I encourage thinking. I think all of my students can do and accomplish great things. So I hold my students in high regard, and in doing so, I respect them by holding them to high expectations. But that comes with a lot of support, and I want to help. I know that you struggle with math, and I know that that's an obstacle, and that's a frustration for you. I want to help you fix it. Yeah, I want to mention very quickly, no cell phones in my classroom. Cell phones can be a real obstacle for getting anything done. They're serious distractions. They're they could become sources of stress and distress. And secondly, and lastly, I should say, it's kind of rude when somebody's trying to help you and you're on your phone, right? You don't want to talk to somebody while they're on their phone. So let's respect each other and just not have them out in the classroom. Lastly, let's talk about research. So, research. I am a doctoral student. I have been held up for a year and a half thanks to the pandemic, so the goal is to get the research done this year. The purpose of the research is just to find ways to observe how students are thinking and to see that students are using their knowledge. The research doesn't change the class whatsoever. In fact, I'm using materials and methods that I've been using for the past number of years in this research, and I'm just measuring that. I honestly believe my students come first, and I would not in any way jeopardize what they need to do for my sake. With that being said, the participation just means that I get to use your work. There are a few extra steps involved, such as an interview, but nothing serious and nothing that will affect your grade or standing in the class or anything about you in the class whatsoever. In fact, all I really do is just take your work and the things you say and just use that as data. And there's nothing about you whatsoever that's shared or identified at any time other than myself. Participating in this research just helps me out, but if it's something that you're concerned about, you could talk to me about it, absolutely. And if you choose not to participate, I respect that as well. There is absolutely no risk whatsoever to my students in this research. Lastly, let's make it a good year. We had a rough year last year, the year and a half, right? I don't think anybody says, let's do more of this. So some of us are behind, and I respect that. Some of us are struggling, and I respect that too. Let's take this year to invest in ourselves, get back on track, and if nothing else, let's get ahead from where we were. And we can do that, but we need to do it together, and I mean that very genuinely. I am looking very forward to having students in the class. I do not, under any circumstance, want to see letters and circles on a screen anymore. So let's work together. Let's get this done. And let's, find success and have a good year. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you.